Alright, I'm 5th job. Now what? Surprisingly, you get a fair bit of options to grind with past 200. 260 you get Monster Park Extreme, which is a good chunk of experience per day, but I'm more focusing on the journey from 200 to 250. Or, yeah, I guess since 6th job is coming soonish, 260, why not? So let's start off with the new zones for grinding in. Every 5 levels you unlock a new area. Vanishing Journey at level 200 after you complete the 5th job advancement, Reverse City at 205, Choo Choo Island at 210, Yum Yum Island at 215, Latch Lane at 200, Arcana at 225, Morass at 230, Esfera at 235, Celis at 240, Moonbridge at 245, Labyrinth at 250, Limina at 255, and Cernium at 260. The levels past Cernium are changing soon, so both Cernium and Burning Cernium are 260, and all the other areas are 5 levels lower past Cernium, but anyways. You can choose to grind in each of these areas, changing it up depending on what maps are best for your class and your current arcane power and how good you are at clearing mobs in said map in one shot or not. This will be your main source of XP, but it's not your sole only option. Let me talk about some other more laid back options for a sec. There's also doing daily quests with the bonus XP for clearing for the first time that day, which gives a good amount per zone. Alongside this, all the weekly minigames per area give a chunk of XP too. Each one gives 45 symbols for that zone per week. It resets on Sundays. And the more areas you reach, the more said latest one goes down in how many you need to clear per week. The 2 exceptions being Yum Yum and Celis. So for example, if you're 200 and you go do Hungry Mudo, you'll only need to clear it twice, since the 3rd time around you get the option to instantly clear, and you skip doing it while still getting the symbols. If you're 225 and do the Arcana questline, you get another insta-clear, which means you only need to do it once. You unlock all the instant clears once you hit 250, so then all the mini-games you only have to do once and then you can insta-clear the rest. On top of this, the daily quests also get reduced per new zone you reach, so you have to kill less mobs or collect less drops per area. You reduce these through the investigation quests in the light bulb when you clear the story section of the newest zone. This one is changing soon too, making it just a kill mobs in this zone daily quest rather than specific enemies, which is nice since that'll reduce how many people fight over certain maps. Last note on the Arcane River zones, once you do the initial quest line on one character, for all future characters that get that far, you get the option to skip all the quests and just instantly unlock that whole zone, the dailies, its minigame, everything. For other options, Monster Park is always there, and it's a nice amount of zones even well into the 200s. You get 2 free runs a day, and it counts towards the progress of your 7-day Monster Parker medal, a special medal that gives 10% IED and 7 attack in all stats. You can bump this up to 7 runs a day with the additional entry tickets in the cash shop. For Reboot, they only cost Meso, and Reg Server can buy them with reward points every month, though they only get 20. Reboot gets an unlimited amount. At least the Meso ones. The reward point shop ones they also get, but it's not really worth it. Just save your reward points for something else. Events usually give some sources of XP too, either through minigames or through doing the daily event quests for some XP coupons, sometimes extra mobs in a map, passive XP buffs, atmospherics that go off at certain times in the event map, and various level up potions. It changes per event, so I won't go into details on any specific one, but just watch the patch notes for new events and usually they'll give some leveling up stuff. There's probably some others I'm forgetting, but those are the major ones that come to mind. Now, how to make grinding go a bit faster, a bit more exciting? Starting with XP coupons. Legion gives some 2x ones for 10, 20, or 30 minutes, and Sunday Monster Park boxes give 2x coupons, ranging from 15 minutes to an hour. Saturday boxes also have a chance of giving XP coupons. Opening Monster Park boxes also gives you coins, which you can trade in for gold potions that give 10% XP for 30 minutes. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it does add up with all the other XP buffs, such as Legion Board's XP grid area, hyperstats, and the mini XP accumulation potions that drop from bosses, which are a shorter version of the bigger ones you get from alchemy crafting, 30 minutes instead of 2 hours, which all give 10% extra XP each and all stack with each other. Bosses you fight weekly have a chance to drop both the mini XP potions and also bonus XP coupons that give an additional 50% XP. But if you don't do weekly bosses or you just get unlucky, there's atmospheric bonus XP buffs. These don't stack with the bonus coupons that drop from bosses though. Sometimes people pop these map-wide buffs at certain locations, usually announced through a megaphone, which... If you're willing to put up with all the lag for a little bit, it's a decent option. Just make sure you can find a training map quickly before other people from the MVP around your level find it first. Spirit Pendant, which you usually get from Daily Gift, but you can also get from places like Dojo or randomly from the Sunday Monster Park boxes, and some other places like events and such. Takes up a pendant slot, but over time gives you more XP, up to 30% if you stay logged in for 2 hours per day. Lastly, some classes have innate extra XP. The biggest one that comes to mind for me is Bishop, who not only gets Holy Symbol, but also hyper passives for extra XP for themselves while using Holy Symbol. Nightlord and Kana also get a small extra boost too. Rip Kana. To make grinding not as boring or feel as tedious as it seems, and is, try reaching other goals while grinding. As I mentioned near the start, you can include dailies into your grind while you're grinding out levels and nail 2 goals with 1 stone. Once you reach specific areas like Morass, Aspharia, and all of Tenebris, familiar cards are an extremely good thing to farm for too. You can get some really useful stats for them at Epic or higher, such as extra boss damage or even up to 100% extra drop rate. In Reboot, these cards only go up to Unique though, but Reg Server can get them up to Legendary, and even get limited amounts of rerolls per month through the reward points shop. Getting some drop rate either through various coupons or accessory equipment at Legendary tier is nice for training too, since it ups the chance of useful items dropping. Familiars included with this, but also Nodestones and Arcane Symbols. Nodestones are just always useful. One reason is because they're useful for every class, so it's a good idea to get these whenever you see them and get the chance to. The other reason is because Nexon makes it pretty difficult to obtain them for some reason, especially early on. Sometimes they give these away through events in the form of XP nodes, or a limited amount of general normal node stones per world instead of per character. But otherwise, you can only really get these through diligent research every week from Vanishing Journey. That only gives like 2 or 3, or just farming them through any Arcane River enemy drops. Thankfully, if you play on reg servers, you can just buy them from the auction house and not have to fret over grinding them out as much. But if you're in Reboot, yeah, I'd recommend getting some drop rate in some form. Mesos you can get from grinding a lot too, though this option nowadays is less appealing now that you get a ton of money through just doing bosses weekly. If you're grinding out for hours at a time though, this option's not all that bad. You can get more Meso if you get, again, equipment accessories with Mesos obtained onto them too, as well as Legion Wealth coupons that give 50% more Mesos and up the Meso drop rate to be 3 times more frequent. Portals that appear while training can give a nice boost of XP, though I'd avoid doing the Fritto portals if you have XP buffs on, since XP doesn't stack with any of his little minigames, and most of them are a bit slow, but Poyo and Especia portals are always worth it. XP coupons work just fine in those. Inferno Wolf portals don't really give XP, just a little boss to fight every once in a while that gives you bags depending on how much damage you dealt while in there. It's good for items at least. I won't get into specific maps to train in, as to avoid sending too many people to one location, and to also encourage trying out other maps, and discovering which map would work best for you, or well enough. If you don't want to think about it too much though, try searching up your class's Discord, or find various YouTube videos and see what they recommend or show the results per maps for. Just aim for something that's comfortable enough for you to spend a few hours training in, that isn't too stressful, and if you can get it, try finding a high burning stage. On a final note, having more damage to clear out mobs faster helps too. You can buff up your gear to do so, but you also have a ton of buff options outside of just getting better equips. I talked more about this in my Stronger Without Gear guide, but quickly going over some fast, quick, and easy damage buffs. Guild Atmospheric, Legion Attack, Monster Park Red Pot or Blue Pot if you're a mage, and green for extra attack speed, and Ursus Atmospheric. 120 attack right there. That should help speed things up a bit. Hopefully any of this information helped you at all if you were feeling a bit lost. As for other XP methods, quests past 200 start to not become super worth it outside of the regional quests per new Arcane River area you unlock, and party quests taper off hard even before 200. I believe crossworld party quests still give good XP up to 200, but not a whole lot of people do them, sadly. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot of choices off event. Maple has been and always will be a grindy game, and that won't change anytime in the near future, so try to make your time as worth it as possible and stack up them XP buffs, and speed through your training up to 6th job when that comes out soon. Or maybe it's out by the time you watch this video. In that case, I hope you enjoy your 6th job skills, and I hope you enjoyed me relaying this information that's probably widely available everywhere else online. Oh, one more thing to help make training go by quicker. Throw on some music in the background, or talk to friends in voice chat, or if you play in windowed mode or have a second monitor, watch some shows or movies, or YouTube videos on the side, or even someone's stream. Do something to break the monotony of endlessly grinding. With that being said, off I go to work on my next class guide. That's all.